My boyfriend, 27, and I, 26, have been together for 2 years. He's a good heart and is normally rational, but his one issue is that he expects to accompany me in every occasion, no matter how big or small. He even went with me to my ex-boyfriend's funeral after days of begging. Now my best friend got married few days ago. It was very small and only close family and friends were invited. My boyfriend couldn't come because of the +1 rule. He pitched a hissy fit saying my best friend has no respect for my relationship and was shocked when he learned that I was still going to attend. He told me that if he can't go then I'm expected to not go as well, but that is my best friend and I had to respect her rules. He gave me an ultimatum: either we go together or I stay home with him. I ended up going cause again I respected my friend's rules. He was angry with me and kept calling the entire 2 hours drive, then stopped. Later I got a text from his friend telling me he, my boyfriend, got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. I freaked out. He gave me the address and I had to leave the wedding and told my friends why. I was crying the entire drive home and kept calling his friend but got no response. I arrived at the hospital and asked about my boyfriend and they checked and told me he wasn't there. My anxiety reached 160% as I kept calling his friends one by one. I just went home and there he was, along with his friend. He saw me and said that he was sorry, but this was the only way he can get me home after I left him alone. After the initial shock, I just blew up yelling at him about lying and making me leave my friend's wedding and having me literally go to the hospital and freaking out because of him. I kicked his friend out and we got into an argument. He kept talking about how much I love him, thus I left, which is my own doing, not his, and he was just trying to see if I really chose my friend's wedding over him. He then argued that my friend caused this and I shouldn't agree with her to exclude him. I said what he did was horrible and called him horrible and then went to my room. It was awful cause my friends kept calling to check in on him cause they thought he was really at the hospital. He said I overreacted and that I yelled at the wrong person. Am I the idiot? Did I go too far? Just the fact that you had to ask a bunch of strangers if you were the idiot for yelling at your boyfriend because he faked getting into an accident after not being invited to a wedding with you and then immediately flipped it back on you when you found him chilling with his friends means that he's been pulling this abusive crap for a while. He did it to see who you would choose, him or your best friend? Please take some time away from him, just a few days, and then read this post back to yourself. And then make an exit plan. Not the idiot. Not the idiot and dump him. That level of manipulation is entirely out of line and will not get better, it will get worse. Going places by yourself, like a friend's tiny wedding where I'm going to guess you are not the only one without a +1, is totally normal and reasonable. His actions likely marred your friend's wedding day as they were worried for you and continuously checked in, like good friends do. Seriously, drop this man like a hot potato. Not the idiot. And if he acts like this anytime you go somewhere without him, he is not normally rational. He only appears that way because you constantly appease him and let him control where you go and who you spend time with. This is the behavior of an abuser. He's willing to lie to you and put you through intense emotional distress because he has the attachment behavior of an infant. Stand your ground and get out while you still can. My husband and I are very happily married for 5 years and have a 2-year-old daughter. I'm the breadwinner while he is the primary caregiver for our daughter. Our schedules work for the most part, but I really need more time to decompress. I'm a lawyer while my husband works in academic research. Our days start by me getting up around 7 to get breakfast ready and my daughter would wake up around 7:30. I will feed her and then go take a bath together. My husband would be up by 8:30 a.m. and he will be dressed and ready by 9 as I leave. I try to finish work till 5 to 6 but end up usually finishing by 7:30 to 8 p.m. on good days. During this time, my husband cleans up the house, makes lunch and dinner, drops off lunch for me and runs his errands for the house. He also plays and takes care of our daughter while also teaching her both our native languages. He will get some of his work for his job that he can do remotely done when she takes her naps. He will leave for work around 6:30. His work is walking distance from our place while mine is a drive away. Since I'm often not able to make it home, our daughter will be with either his mother, my sister or our neighbor who also has a 2-year-old. This puts additional pressure on my plate to get home quicker to relieve these people from this additional duty. My work already required me to work twice as hard as most of my counterparts because this is such a high-pressure job. I had cut my maternity leave short and come back early because my coworkers warned me about how people were eyeing my clients and position. Just to prove myself, I had to work even harder. When I get home, I'm burnt out. I don't get any time to decompress really, as I have to take care of my daughter as soon as I get back until her bedtime at 9. I'd then finish whatever little work I can, which I had to abandon to get home in time. By 10 I'm spent and just crash in my bed and maybe get an hour to myself until I fall asleep. My husband will come back around 12 to 12:30 a.m. and fall asleep. This was working, but I'm spent. I can't do this anymore. If my husband quits his job, I won't have the extra pressure to rush home, nor would I have to wake up early and take care of our daughter right away. I'd also be able to get at least some time to myself. His job doesn't really pay as much and mostly covers his personal expenses and a few bills which my salary can easily cover. I pay for most of the stuff here, and it's important that I am able to work at my best for that salary. I had a conversation with him where he was very defensive and didn't want to quit, as it's fulfilling and has been his dream for a long time despite it not being practical at this point in life, and well, out of frustration, I called his job a hobby since it doesn't pay much and doesn't really contribute to the household. I know it was harsh, but at the end of the day it is the truth. He's not been his cheery self for a few days now and is barely talking to me. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The fact that you make more money is irrelevant here. It sounds like your husband definitely contributes fairly to housework and childcare. Academic research is an important field and not a hobby. You're a massive idiot for belittling his job like that. If you make good money, why not hire a nanny who can relieve the pressure you feel to rush home? You need to check yourself and apologize to your husband for trivializing his career. You are the idiot. There are so many issues you face as a direct result of choices you make, but that you hold other people responsible for. You are being condescending when you tell your husband his job is nothing more than a hobby. What you are suggesting is that your husband should dedicate his life to seeing your needs are met. How about you change your job? There must be other ways to work as a lawyer than the position you currently hold. This is so rude and dismissive. Your husband isn't to blame for your inability to put boundaries in place with your work. If you should leave by 6, leave by 6. If you can't ever leave by 6, then hire a nanny for the regular hours you guys need, or have a conversation with your neighbor or family who are currently filling the gap about having a more concrete arrangement so you don't feel you're putting them out. You could have talked to your husband or your work or your friends and family about options. Dictating how you want him to live his life around your schedule is idiot behavior. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. She works hard taking care of our kids and maintaining our home. I do what we have agreed is a fair portion of the housework and all of the yard work. She has full access to all of our accounts except for my personal spending account. I put the exact same amount into her personal spending account, but I can only deposit, not withdraw. I have a home office, but I do not work from home. It is just a place I can go to sit and catch up on anything I might need to from work, and also play video games or play with my toys. My wife also has a room that is dedicated to her and her hobbies. I have asked her multiple times to please leave my room alone. I clean it myself. I take my dishes to the kitchen and either wash them or place them in the dishwasher. I take out my own trash. When I play with my kids in my office, I clean up after all of us. When my wife joins me in my office for video games, I clean up afterwards. There is quite literally no reason for her to do anything in there when I am not in it. I do not have a lock on my door, but I do have my laptop password protected. I like to line up some of my collection of Lego minifigs by my screen on my laptop. I like to imagine that Batman and Spider-Man are watching me work. I know it is silly, but I like it. For some reason my wife decided to go clean my office. I guess she needed to move my laptop, so she closed it. Not all the way, because my minifigs were in the way. When I came home, she told me what happened. The screen was not working at all. I had to get my old monitor out and hook it up so I could check and see if anything else was busted. It was just the screen. I checked and it would cost about $250 for parts and labor to replace my screen. So I decided to replace the laptop and use the old one with my old monitor for the kids. It was fine other than the non-working screen. The cost to replace my laptop was only $600, yay Black Friday. So I took $350 from my account and I took $250 from the money I was going to deposit into her personal account for December, and I got my new computer. This will in no way affect our budget for anything other than our own personal side projects and hobbies. I was looking forward to getting myself a new Lego set to work on with my kids over the holidays, but now I will have to rebuild one of my old ones with them. Which is also fun. Well, now she is pissed at me because she has to cut back on her fun stuff for December. She likes to have a spa day with her mom, for example. I said that I wasn't responsible for my computer being broken and that she 100% was. She said it was an accident and that I should forgive her. I said I wasn't upset, but that if she felt I should forgive her, then I fully forgive her, but she still has to help me pay for a new laptop. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. You sound like you're punishing a child by withholding their allowance, not talking with your wife. Grow up. Stuff happens. You're in a marriage/partnership. Don't pretend you didn't take her money and aren't a dictator. That's exactly what you did. You didn't talk about it and mutually agree. She clearly does not agree. At best, you browbeat and bullied her into giving in to your childish and petty demands. Enjoy those Legos, they are going to cost you way more than a few $100. Not the idiot, only because you'd previously asked her not to go into that room. If it had been in a common area, I would have called it a joint problem/expense that should come out of shared funds because you'd left it out/left the Legos on it and she'd moved it improperly. You had it in a safe, private space though, and she knew you didn't want her going in there. She should have to cover the repair. I'm gonna go with everyone's the idiot here. I agree that she should pay for what she broke, but you're way out of line. You cannot just decide that she doesn't get her money that she worked for. She did work, you have to pay her. If she decides not to pay you the money back for the laptop, then that is an issue that needs to be worked out between the two of you. Simply deciding not to pay her is gross. You have now set the standard that her pay can be held at will. Your will. While she doesn't have the same power over you. Pay her.